Welcome everyone. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Lovely to see you. It's lovely to see you, Matt. How are you today?
Good, thank you, Richard. How are you? I was saying to Dan yesterday, I was sort of missing you at this point.
Oh, I think you're doing crackingly well. I'm cheering you on loudly as you go. Hey, Ella, how's it going?
Good, thank you. Done well.
Well done. How did the Instagram live go this morning? Or today?
Went really well. We had like over 30 people on at one point, so definitely a good audience today, and she was really interesting, so it was good.
Brilliant. Hey, Amber, how's it going?
Hi, good, thank you.
Good, good, good. Lovely to see you, Nicola. Lovely to see you. How are you?
Hello, good. I made it for once. And so homeschool is well and truly out here.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, and the glass is very full. I cannot wait for Monday morning. I might just sit in silence and marvel how everything stays where I have left it for 5 hours.
Wonderful.
But other than that, all good. All good.
Hey, Jimmy, how's it going? Lovely to see you.
Good to see you too. Yeah, good to see you. Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. How are you? How yourself?
Yeah, have you had a haircut? Have you managed to get a lockdown haircut, or is that for next week?
No. Yeah, I've got no. I should have it cut really. I've got no excuse because my mum cuts me hair. So yeah, but you know, could be worse, couldn't it? Could be worse.
She's done a great job. Hey, Gabrielle, how's it going?
Hi, I'm good. Actually, today, big news. I got an interview after a year. Woo! So it was just a random work I found on LinkedIn. So yeah, it's been weird. It's post-lockdown interview. It's weird, but still keep going. That's good.
Is it going to be face-to-face interview?
Yeah, well, it was. Yeah, so it was today that I had one, and it was face-to-face, and I was just like shaking. I was like, oh my gosh, how does this work? But yeah, it went well. It was good. So hopefully I can go to a second stage. So yeah, we'll see.
Okay, wonderful. Fingers crossed. If you need a reference or anything, just feel free to tap me and Dan and anyone else in the community up. We'll be more than happy to help.
Thank
you. Lovely to see you. Hi.
Hello. How's it going?
Yeah, very good. Welcome to Winchester Creatives.
Thank you very much.
Good. Do you mind telling us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I run a small design agency originally from Gloucestershire. Moved to King Somborn last Christmas. Just managed to move in before the lockdown chaos. Sort of been going about 7 years. Lots of work within sort of arts and cultural sector. Fair bit in education as well. And then work with lots of freelancers across all sort of disciplines, and it's generally sort of branding led projects that we do. Yeah,
awesome. You're more than welcome to join us here. We're lovely to see you there. Hey Lavinia, how's it going?
I am good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, how's the week been for you?
It's been good, thank you.
Good.
Done a lot of work for uni.
Am I right in saying you joined us for our last Friday social? Is that right?
I think it was a couple weeks ago when there was a talk by someone. I can't remember. It was a few weeks ago though. Yeah.
Well, welcome. Sandy Matter in the house. How are you, Sandy?
Hello, I'm good, thank you. Hi, Richard. Hi, Dan. How's it going?
Yeah, good. Tell us about your week.
I don't know. Like working at home, they just kind of seem to all blur now, so I don't really know what was this week and what was last week, so let's just say that it's been good. It's all right.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's all right.
Wonderful. Who have we not covered? We haven't covered, well, everyone in the house. This is Myles. Say a quick hello to Myles.
Hey everyone.
Hello.
So I'm going to turn the music off in the interest of time. We're going to have a few other people turning up as we go, and we'll let them in as we go. Today is we're trying to mix it up a little bit. So we know that we're all a bit zoomed out, and to believe it or not, in 3 weeks' time, I understand there's the ability for us to meet in a pub and have a pint. So in under 4 weeks' time, there's the ability to meet in person. We're going to get away from all this getting completely zoomed out, and we're going to be able to somehow meet. Oh yeah, and Matt can serve. Yeah. Extra servings, extra roasted peanuts, please. So So we just really wanted to mark the occasion. We know that it's all blurring into one, and every single Zoom event seems to be the same. And we wanted to mix it up a bit. And so, if anyone didn't know, Myles Thornton joined us at our last Friday social because Martin Reed over at Solent University had encouraged him and some of his colleagues to come and join us. And first of all, it's great to see young creative talent in Hampshire kind of lean into what we're doing. And second of all, he kind of mentioned in passing that he was into magic. And my son, who's 12 years old, is just literally obsessed with magic. So obviously kind of jumped on that. And Myles was very kind to just have check-in with my son on Wednesday when it was his 12th birthday to share some of his tricks. Now, I've had the pleasure of seeing Myles on his YouTube channel, and he is amazing. So we are very thrilled, honoured and pleased to have Myles joining us today. Before we get there, we just thought it'd use a great opportunity just to give you a bit of an update with various things that have been going on. So I'm going to start with a bit of sort of update with sort of a project we've been working with Team Casella. And I'm just in a bit of heads up, Amber. I'm going to defer to you if that's okay, because we're missing a few others in the team here tonight. But we're going to share a little bit about the journey that we've been on. And then I'm going to hand over to Dan Benham, who's going to basically introduce more of the Winchester Creatives team, who's going to talk about the Mend the Gap campaign. We'll give you a bit of a flavour of the next events coming up, and then we'll crack on with this evening's, entertainment. And we hope there's time at the end to have some breakout rooms so we can all chat and catch up with everyone and, how interviews are going, job offers and all that stuff. Sound good?
Yep, great.
Right. Okay. So this time last year, we told you that we've established 2 formal teams that we are financing through our Winchester Creatives apprenticeship kind of programs. One of the teams we'd financed was called Team Casella, and they were the ones that had financing support from Casella Family Brands, who own Yellowtail Wines. And they, as you heard from Kevin last time, brought a really exciting brief for our team to work on over a 6 to 7 week period, and to try and help them with a really exciting campaign to develop a new wine brand to basically be sold into the European marketplace in the summer, and is literally in the process of being pitched to a major UK and European grocer. So it was a fantastic kind of live project that had its twists and turns in it. But rather than me talk about it, I wondered whether I could just defer to Amber, and she can give us a sense of a bit of the journey and the things that we did and what she learned from it, so that you get a bit of a flavour of what's gone on in Team Casella. Over to you, Amber.
So we started 8 weeks ago now, I think. Yeah, so it was early January, and we sort of came together and we were sort of pitching ideas and coming up and sort of working together for this new product development. I was working on content. That was really fun. Got to learn a lot about wine. So I went from knowing basically nothing to being able to understand what wine connoisseurs were saying in their wine reviews. And I was just like, that just going from nothing to all of this knowledge is really cool. And last week we did a presentation to the senior management team at Casella. So that was it was an interesting experience. It's a lot. It's it's really difficult to describe unless you've actually done it, because you're just it's a presentation, but to the most important people, and you're just here is my work. But they were really nice, and they were really positive about the presentation, so that was good.
Yeah, wonderful. And to put that into perspective, the team literally pitched to the general manager of Casella Family Brands, the marketing director of Europe, the sales director, and all of the senior board of directors for one of the best known wine brands in the world. And they were extraordinarily impressed with the work. So to put it in perspective, what the team did is they absorbed the insight of the research from the wine market, as Amber says. They sort of started looking at personas and the real audiences we're trying to communicate to. Amber did an extraordinarily good job in trying to come up with different storylines of how to articulate that story. We then went through a process of trying to find the core creative ideas, and we kind of went through a number of iterations. One of the challenges of this project is with alcohol branding is that you have to work within certain parameters, and you can't necessarily associate some sort of benefits of drinking with some things. So you've got to think about the responsible branding guidelines. So we've had a couple of occasions where the ASA and the Portman group have kind of said, actually, we don't think that core idea is a great idea, but it's a bit sailing close to the wind, so we need to adapt. And then we basically created an integrated campaign. So we created the above the line assets. So all of the posters, what you see in tube stops, what you'd see sort of outside in bus stops, what you'd see in magazine pullouts, what you'd be able to see as adverts on TV, and what radio jingles might be. We then looked at the through the line elements of the campaign, which is a fantastic website that sort of Kane Mackenzie Yapper kind of pulled together, and also all the social media assets that Hannah and Dan B and everyone got involved in. And then below the line, we also kind of looked at what it looks like in store on pack, and we came up with new exciting ideas of murals in location with graffiti artists and things like that. So it was a full integrated campaign pitch, and the team from Castella showed our team the respect that they deserved, because they treated them like any other creative agency. They didn't drop their standards. They basically treated us as they would with anyone else. And the team responded magnificently. And at some point, we're all a bit NDA'd. We can't tell you a bit about the product because it's a new product. But in the summer, you may just see a massive billboard on the side of one grocer in Winchester, a big billboard saying the name of this brand, and you may see us getting very, very excited about that. So huge congratulations. So the team for that was Amber, there was Kane, there was Hannah, and there was Dan B, and it was a massive team effort, incredibly challenging to do in lockdown. But they've now learned a whole set of experiences, including how to set themselves up as freelancers, how to do timesheets, how to do invoicing, how to pitch and present to clients every single week, how to take a briefing, and how to construct an integrated creative campaign. And they've grown and developed through that, and it's been a fantastic learning experience for all of us. So well done, Team Castella. I'm going to pass back over to Dan Benham, who's going to give us a bit of an update with what's happening with Team Winchester Creatives.
Absolutely. So, I mean, as you probably all are aware, we've changed up from the initial campaign of Mind the Gap, and we're now running the Mend the Gap campaign. We're about 3 weeks into that. And the idea of this one is that we're highlighting all the ways that we've been helping, all of you people over the past few months. And as you're all aware, like, you've all provided testimonials, video content, and all kinds of lovely messages and things for us to be able to share on social media. We've been doing a featured mentee each week, which has gone down really well. That kind of content has been absolutely absorbed by people, which has been fantastic. There's a huge amount of momentum that's been created. So a couple of people actually did a radio interview last night, Amber and Ella. So Amber, how did you feel? Again, sorry to put you on the spot, Amber. How did you think it went, actually?
I think it went really well. We had a really great conversation, and we did invite him to today's social, but unfortunately he's not been able to make it. But yeah, I think the interview went well.
Excellent. Very good work. Nice one. Again, definitely just dropped you in at the deep end there. So thanks, for standing up and sorting that out. That's brilliant. We've had all kinds of activity across all of our social platforms. Ella pulled a really fantastic report for us last week, and there was a specific stat. Our Instagram impressions, they up 740% or something like that, Ella?
Something like that. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's definitely something that is kind of mind-blowing when you look at it. So it is good.
Yeah, absolutely. And so the other thing that we've had, which has really been exciting, 645% Matt is saying. Let's go with 740 because I prefer that bigger number. So Ella, every Friday, has been running these fantastic interviews, short little things over on Instagram Live. So the first week she did one with Hannah, who, as Richard was saying, was on the Casella team. Last week she did one with our very own yellow dungareed Matt over there. And then today she had a special guest, Jasmine from Find Your Intern. So Ella, can you just kind of give us a bit of an idea as to what these kind of interviews are, and how they're helping, and because I'm sure some of these other people might want to get involved in these interviews.
Yeah, so they're called Young Lives Interrupted, and it's kind of, the focus is just getting our message out there in whatever way we can, whether that's talking to mentees, talking to people that have a similar goal or are struggling in similar ways. And so we spoke to Hannah and Matt in the first 2 weeks, like Dan said. And then today was our first external guest, which was Jasmine. And she runs a platform all about kind of putting your best foot forward, ready for employment in early creative careers. And she had some really amazing tips. So I definitely recommend to go watch it. It's on our IGTV now. So you can go watch that one. We have some really exciting guests coming up. It's always just a nice way to wrap up the week. It's super kind of brief and quick, but there's always really valuable insights to take away from it. Kind of things that we don't always hear, kind of reassurances of where you're going and where you're at. And it's a really nice way to kind of keep you motivated and hear different perspectives from not only Winchester, but kind of further outside that community as well. So it's very exciting. Definitely recommend.
Brilliant, and excellent initiative on setting that up, because it's been absolutely brilliant. And some of the highlights of my past few weeks, actually, on a 5:30 in the afternoon, having a look at that, has been fantastic. So generally there's just been lots of momentum in a very weird turn of events. I don't know if you saw this, Ella, on Twitter. The Dutch diplomat to the UK liked one of our tweets yesterday.
Oh, really? Ooh.
It's pretty bizarre.
We're in with a good crowd.
Exactly. Yeah. We're appealing to a mass audience now. So that's been really cool. And, we've still got loads and loads of fantastic mentee videos to go out over the next few weeks. So it's only going up from here. So end of update from me. Back over to Richard in the studio with a fantastic magician.
And one thing I should mention is straddling both teams, our Winchester Creative team, which is Ella, which is Matt, which is Eloise, and is also Dan, of course, and Dan B, is also the magnificent Heather Rankin, who is our illustrator in residence. And one of the things she did on Team Casella is, because we couldn't get video cameras to kind of film our journey because we weren't in a creative studio, she has been illustrating our journey so that we have a kind of illustrative memento of all of the process that we went to. So at some point we'll share all those brilliant illustrations. And thank you, if Heather's watching this on repeat, thank you for your wonderful creativity you brought to this. So before I move on to Myles, I just want to say the next event is already to be booked in. And I just wanted to give you a bit of a flavour of what that might be. So on the 24th of this month, I'm just going to check that date. It's Wednesday, the 24th of March. We have a really exciting session coming up. And it's on the subject matter of somebody called the reluctant networker. So one of the things that we all know is that sometimes we can err on the side of sort of procrastination when it comes to networking, and sometimes we all need a little bit of a kick up the bum to kind of get out there and meet new people. So Neil Munns-Jones has a published book called The Reluctant Networker. And he's going to give us tips and tricks as to how to get the best out of the networking opportunity. So not only is he a highly published author, he's a Winchester, and he joined our Alliance for Hampshire Jobs event that happened 2 weeks ago, which was published in the Telegraph, which was trying to get the leaders of Hampshire together to try and do something to help sort of tackle this issue called youth unemployment. The only other event that I should mention to you right now is I've caught up with Catherine Strachan, our content and SEO trainer, and she is ready to basically catch up with us next Thursday. One for the diary, Ella, if you can make it next Thursday from 6:30. I'll share those details on our network, community network. If anyone has gone through our training and wants to check in with her, has any other questions for her, she's putting a time aside on the 11th of March between 6:30 and 7:30 to basically help us with that. So that's enough of an update from us. Now on to the main attraction. So I've mentioned Myles Thornton. He's currently, by day, as with any superhero, he is a budding young designer who's working through his MA at Solent University, but by night, he is an award-winning magician. And for our pleasure, he is here tonight to share some of his wonderful magic. Put your virtual hands together for Myles Thornton.
Hello, everyone. How you doing? So yeah, like Richard said, for the past 3 to 4 years, I've been a full-time magician at weddings, corporate events and stuff like that. And then the COVID-19 hit and all the event industry just was decimated. So then thought I'd take the time to pursue one of my other passions, which is art, design, just anything creative is what I like. But we're going to focus on magic this evening, so this is cool. The first thing I had to ask, because I'm so used to performing in person for people, could everyone just unmute their microphones just so I can hear people's reactions and stuff like that? Because otherwise it sounds like I'm just talking to myself half the time. And magicians have quite a big ego, so I need you guys to feed that for me. So that's good. So one of the things that I do when I get to events is I mix and mingle with guests. And this is the way that I start off events usually, and it just gets the idea of people to be able to tell I'm a magician.
Can I just ask one thing? It's probably best if you go to the gallery, go to the speaker view.
Yes, speaker view. Yeah,
so that way if anyone's on gallery view, I would put Myles on as the big screen version here for you.
Cool. Okay, right. So we'll start. That's right. No problem. So show you something. This here. So watch. Ready? If you watch the ball, you can make it look like it starts to float like this. And watch. Ready? If I just take it here, if I shake, so she floats for real for just a second.
What?
Like that. Now this is the interesting thing because this isn't actually magic. What this is a thing called contact juggling, and it's something that I learned. So when I was younger, I watched a film called Labyrinth. I don't know if anyone see it with David Bowie in. And I watched that, and this is in it. There's some guy, poor guy, had to stand behind David Bowie and do it blind without being able to see. And I watched that when I was younger, but I assumed it was special effects. So I kind of brushed it off to one side, and I completely forgot about the film. But it was one of my favorite films when I was younger. And then I was about 15 years old. It came back on TV, and then behind the scenes was directly after the film. So I watched that, and I found it was a real thing, and therefore I learned it from there. So it's actually a type of juggling which is interesting, but you can create the illusion that it floats just like this. Now, like I said, this is the sort of thing that I do in real life for people. And in real life, you'll be able to touch the ball, grab the ball, feel it's actually quite heavy, it's solid acrylic. But we're moving on to like a Zoom show, like a Zoom interactive show. So I thought I'd try something interactive with everyone first. And this is called just a little psychological experiment sort of thing. So on this pad here, I have written a 2-digit number. It's a 2-digit number between 10 and 99. Both digits are odd. So they're both odd, but they're both different. So, for example, it couldn't be 11, but it could be 13. So I want everyone to think of a 2-digit number. Both digits are odd and both digits are different in their head. And when you've got one in your head, just put your hand in the air, just so I can see when everyone's got one. Cool. Now, this won't with everyone, but if I turn it around, it had the number 37 written down. Oh. Anyone had number 37? So it's quite an interesting thing because what you do, you limit the choices down. That's the most psychologically appealing number. But that's quite restricted, so I thought I'd try something different. So on this side of the paper, I've written down another number, and this can be any number. So Dan, before you shoot off, I have a 2-digit number written down here, and I want you to think of any 2-digit number between 10 and 99. Go for it. Just think of it.
Do they have to be odd?
No, anyone. Completely anyone.
Okay, got one.
And you've got to be honest with me. Be honest. Is your number 43?
No.
No, my prediction is correct. There we go. Yeah. Thank you. That's it. Thank you guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later. No, I'm joking. I thought I'd set it low, but we'll try and move on to some more real sort of magic here. And so we use something using a deck of playing cards. And as you can see, these are all different. And here's a really interesting fact about playing cards. In fact, I'll just put this on top of here so you can see. The interesting thing about playing cards is if you take a deck of cards and you shuffle them, even at home, they're statistically likely that's the first time that any deck of cards has been in that order. See, there's something called 52 factorial, which I actually have tattooed here because I was young and regret it now. But it's 52 factorial, so it's 52 times 51 times 50 all the way down to 0. And that combination is actually more than grains of sand on the earth. So there's that many combinations a deck of cards can be in. So we're going to try something using a deck of cards. I'm going to shuffle them together. But rather than just give it a normal shuffle, I'm going to shuffle the cards face up, like this, into face down, like that. So this doubles that. So now it's 104 different sorts of combinations because some are face up and some are face down. I'm just going to go onto this view here so I can see. Ooh. Can I pin my video? There we go, cool. So you can see these are all mixed up completely. And I noticed that a lot of people think magicians use like sleight of hand and that sort of thing. And if you're in person, you could really shuffle these. And it sounds a bit weird me saying that because you maybe think I'm lying. So what I did, I actually got my friend to create a shuffling machine that takes the shuffling out of my hands and kind of mimics maybe what a spectator would do at a performance. So I'll show you it here. There you go, look at this. It might fall apart at any minute, but basically what it is like a tombola sort of machine that allows me to mix the cards. So what do I open it up? I take the cards like this, and I'm going to place them inside the machine like this. Here we go. And I'm just going to put this back like this. Lock it, and then we're going to lock it with a pen. That'll be able to do all the full out. So I'm going to spin it like this. I'm going to spin it quite a few times. I'll spin it up a bit. Hopefully you can see they're all mixed up. And now, Sandy, would you say stop at any time?
Stop.
Yeah, I'm going to stop there. I'll take it out. So hopefully now you can believe that these are completely mixed up. I want you to watch carefully because I don't want you to think I've switched out the cards in any way possible. Like this, I'm going to have them, I'll hold them here. I'll move my shuffling machine to the side. There you go. And I'm going to square them up, and I'm just going to place them on top of the wine glass here. So that's a completely random state. There's no way I can know what order these cards in out of the thousands of variations they're in. Now, a lot of people ask me when I go to events, you get the classic lines of, can you make my wife disappear is usually what I get. Can you make money appear? A lot of people ask, can you predict the lottery? And this is almost similar to predicting the lottery. So before the show started, probably about a week ago now, I sent a signed prediction to Richard. Now, Richard, could you unmute your mic?
So, yes, I did. I received this this envelope, and this was basically in it. And I have not, I mean, apart from when I opened up the envelope, it said, please keep sealed until I asked you to open it at the show. That's what it says. Please keep sealed as I open the show. I must admit, just before this thing, all I did was lift that up. I do not know what's in this, and I am definitely not a stooge, honestly. I have not opened this up, genuinely.
So we have a sealed prediction there. Like Richard said, it's not set up anyway. I don't use any stooges or anything like that. If you've seen me in person, I'll show you this in person. So I'm going to take the deck of cards here. I'll move the wine glass out of the way. And I'm going to tilt this down here so everyone can see. So Richard, would you open up your envelope? You should find inside. Would you tell everyone what you find inside?
Yeah.
What would you have?
I've got what looks like four cards. 1, 2, 3, 4 with the numbers 4 on the 1 to 4. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And on the back, I'm assuming that those are your signatures over the sealed envelope. So that's one.
Yep.
That's another. And that's another. And that's another.
Awesome. Perfect. And would you do me a favor and go to envelope number 1?
So shall I put these ones down?
Yeah. No, that's fine. Put the other envelopes down. That's fine. There's no
Yeah,
problem.
that's fine. Okay.
And
So-
open up prediction 1.
Okay. So this to show you, I'm literally just ripping this open. You don't mind me ripping it open, do you?
No, go ahead. Rip it open. Just be careful of the rabbit inside. That's all.
Right. There is a card. There is a. Okay.
Prediction. Would you read that out loud for everyone here?
Do you want me to turn it around?
Yeah, turn it around and read it out for everyone. That's okay.
There will be 27 face down cards. There will be 27 face down cards.
Awesome. So I'm going to do this as slow as I can, but not slow enough to make it boring, hopefully. So we'll give this a go. Ready? So I'm going to count here. So that's face up. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27 face down cards.
Oh,
What?
We'll take it one step further. We'll move these to the side. And would you now open envelope number 2, please?
This is envelope number 2 I'm opening up. And just to show you, I am literally just opening the back. And on this, it says, of the face up cards, 12 will be black. Of the face up, I don't know if you can read that. Can you read that? Of the face up cards, 12 will be black.
Awesome. So again, I'm going to count for again. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Whoa. What?
And now, Richard, would you open the next envelope? Envelope number 3, please.
Okay. Envelope number 3. And on the back, it's sealed with a signature. And I'm gonna rip it open. And it says, all the red cards will be hearts. All the red cards will be hearts.
So we'll see if this works. Here we go. Right. So we have the 6 of hearts, the 5 of hearts, the 2 of hearts, the Queen of hearts, the 3 of hearts, the King of hearts, the 8 of hearts, the Ace of hearts, the 4 of hearts, the 9 of hearts, sorry, one second. That's fine. The 10 of hearts and the 7 of hearts. Okay, so that's not too bad. So that's like 90% accurate.
Well done.
That's fine. We'll move on to the next one. Richard, would you open the next prediction for me?
Fourth, and I'm opening it. It's sealed, and believe me, this is sat just at the side of my my laptop for the last week, and I haven't done anything with it. Right, except for the Jack of Diamonds. No way!
Oh,
What?
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 There you go.
Way!
Thank you very much.
Hey.
I think that was worth making the shuffling machine. I think that was worthwhile for this because I don't really do Zoom magic, so this is quite a new experience for me and everyone. I do a few tricks here and there, but it's a cool experience to be able to do something over Zoom. And what I'm really keen about is every time I go to an event, there'll be people there who are interested in magic. And I think magic is something that should be shared with everyone. So I'm not too worried about sharing some secrets. So what I thought I'd do before my final trick, I thought I'd teach something that's quite simple that everybody can do. And that way, next time when you meet up with your friends and family outside lockdown, you actually have something new to show them maybe, or maybe even at networking events, if you want something to do, there's nothing more that can make you memorable than doing a little magic trick for people. So you don't have to grab the stuff. This is being recorded, so you should be able to access it at a later point. Or if you struggle to remember it, just drop me a message and I can send you a video of how to do it. But all you need is like an elastic band, or you can do this with a hairband or anything like that. Will work completely fine. And now if it's elastic band, you're going to wrap it on the first 2 fingers and you're going to trap it like that. Now what I'll do, I'll show you what it looks like first. So you trap the elastic band on your first 2 fingers, and then when you shake, you see it jumps from finger to finger, just like that. So it's quite a cool visual trick that you can do. And what I'll do, I'll show you how it's done. So if you have something that's really stretchy and really loose, you're going to double it round the first 2 fingers here. And that creates it nice and tight. If you are using a hairband, it depends how, like, you don't want to break them basically. So just be careful, but you'll see if it works. And now what you're going to do, this is what people don't see. So you have your hand facing this way when you're performing for people, but on your side, it's going to look like this. You take out both bands and you put it across your palm like this. So it creates a gap on the palm. That's it. Now, if that's quite tight, make sure you pick up both bands. If you've got one across here, it won't work. You need to pick up both strands of the band. There you go. And if that's too tight, you're going to want to loosen it. So you just want to wrap around once if that's too tight to do that. And now what you're going to do, you're going to put all your fingers in this gap here. So all your fingers go inside that hole. You need to make sure they're all in. So this gap here, you're going to put all your fingers in. If one's sticking out, this won't work. You need to make sure all your fingers are in that gap. Now, once you've done that, you're going to lay these 2 bits across your fingertips here. So across the fingertips. So now that's your setup. So now you're ready. So now what you do, you tilt your hand forward so they don't see this bit here. And now all you have to do is open up your hand like this, but push out. So open all your fingers at the same time and it will jump. There you go. I can see some people surprise themselves with that. That's the cool thing about this.
I thought that maybe if I have rings, it's not going to happen, but it still happens.
It still works. And the really interesting thing about this is, so sometimes the method in magic is sometimes more interesting than the trick itself. And this is kind of interesting with this. So if you have another band, you can put the first band on your first 2 fingers again, and then you can take the second one and you can lock your fingers like this. And this looks like it would stop the band from escaping from these 2 fingers. It looks like there's no way possible that it could jump. But watch. You see, you shake and it still jumps across, just like that. And you can do that for yourself at home. Try it out and it'll still jump across. And I'm not sure quite how it works myself, but it's just magic, which is nice. There you go. So now you've got something you can take home with you. Again, if you struggle with that or you want to try and remember it again, just drop me an email and I'll be able to send you a link to a video explaining that in more detail. So we have now arrived at the final trick of the night. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to move back to gallery view for this. Cool. Now grab that deck of cards again. I'll give them a shuffle. That way they're not in any order. And what I'm going to do for my final trick is I'm going to try to turn someone else into a magician. So I'm going to give them the power. So this sounds very interesting. So I'll give this a go. So Gabrielle, is that who you're saying? Gabrielle? Yeah. Would you unmute your microphone if that's okay?
Yep.
So Gabrielle, you're going to be the magician for this.
Okay.
So what I'm going to ask you to do is just close your eyes, okay? I don't want you to see this card. So I'll tell you to open your eyes in just a second. We're just going to get a card selected by someone else.
Okay.
So Nicola, are you okay to talk?
Yep. Yep.
I'm going to dribble the cards like this, and you're just going to say stop whatever you like.
Stop.
There. I'm going to show everyone the cards. So everyone see this card. Don't say it out loud because we don't want Gabrielle to know. Everyone seen it? I don't know. I'm showing it around like people are actually here. I could just keep it still, can't I, on Zoom? There we go. So I'm going to leave that in the middle here, and I'm going to shuffle that in. There we go. Now, Gabrielle, you can open your eyes.
Okay.
So just to be clear, this wasn't set up beforehand. We've never met in person. We've never spoke before this, I don't think. So you have no clue what the card is or where it is in the deck at this moment.
Okay.
What I'm going to do, I'll give you one more shuffle. And now in a deck of cards, like I said before, there's 52 cards. Now, Gabrielle, I just want you to name any number between 1 and 52.
8.
8. Okay. So what we're going to do, are you sure you want 8? I need to give you one chance to change your mind. It's up to you.
No, I'm going to stick with 8.
You're going to stick with 8. Okay. Just remember that I gave you the choice to change your mind. Okay. Because that's important.
Okay.
So we're going to eliminate 8 cards from the top of the deck. So we're going to eliminate 8 cards. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we've eliminated 8 cards. Now you can have named any number. So we eliminated 8 cards, but it leaves us with 1 card here. Now I'm going to pick this up. I'm not going to switch it. I'm just going to play this to here. Now, if you'd have chose to eliminate 1 less card, we would have had the 7 of clubs. If we chose to eliminate more cards, we would have had the 2 of diamonds. Nicola, for the first time, could you say your card out loud so Gabrielle can know?
5 of clubs.
The 5 of clubs. Gabrielle's doing pretty well. There we go. It's the 5
Whoa.
of clubs.
What?
And ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of my show. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
Awesome.
Very good. Very good.
Thank you very much.
That was awesome. It's particularly challenging to do it on Zoom, but well done. For me, there is no difference between being a young creative who's designing and problem solving, using their craft, their dedication, their focus, their attention, their skills in a creative sense to that of doing magic. And fantastic to have you part of our community. Can we have a massive round of applause for the wonderful Myles Thornton?
Thank you, everyone. Cheers.
I'm now going to in the chat. We're going to share Myles's details. So I'm going to ask a favour because we all know that our young lives have been disrupted through COVID-19. None more so than magicians, who often get their gigs from going on to things like sort of cruise ships and going to weddings and going to black tie events and award dues. And the thing is they've had a really rough time of it because all of their bookings has sort of gone away. So one favor I'd just like to add. So I've just added to the chat here. At some point, if you think what you have seen has really surprised you and made you wonder how and made you wonder why, please, at some point over the next 2 to 3 weeks or the months, please just share his website or his YouTube channel or his LinkedIn or indeed his Instagram, because I know he hasn't asked me to say it, but I'm going to sell it to you now. Myles Thornton, the award-winning magician, is open for bookings after lockdown. So if you hear of anyone having a wedding, if anyone is having an event, if there's an award ceremony, please keep in the back of your mind, Myles, send them to his website and mention Winchester Creatives, and let's get some bookings in his diary. Thank you. Right. I think we'll do a breakout session if that's okay. So I'm going to break you into 2 groups. We'll just do 10 minutes and then maybe we swap around. And just feel free to catch up. But I wonder if you just start with, what has been your favorite magic experience and why? And if you start sharing that and have a bit of a magic theme conversation, and also don't forget to tell people where you're at in terms of your mentoring and your various interviews. And Myles is going to drop into both rooms for 5 minutes, so you can always ask what's going on and how it happens. So bear with me because I've got to do this breakout session with myself. So 2 rooms. I'm going to sign it automatically. 10 minutes. Jump in a room and explain the best magic experience you've seen in a while. Okay. We're going to have a few other people coming in. It takes them 60 seconds, by the way. I give them a warning, and it gives them 60 seconds, so they're all wrapping up. So we're back in the main room.
What I wanted to say, Ella, is that I've heard that if you post reels on Instagram, because it's trying to get in the TikTok market, they're really promoting that, so you can get lots of growth if you got reels on Instagram. Just wanted to let you know.
Yeah, I need to try that out. I'm so terrible at. I tried to make one of the reels for my own business, and it was so bad. I was like, I can't face that. That's embarrassing.
You know what I did? I just did, because I did a couple of videos for some of my work, just in general, a video, and because it was vertical, I just put it as a reel, and that's basically, you know, people just get it.
We just
But
got kicked out.
Yeah,
it could be a little bit too
Point.
long if you're doing IGTV.
do a little bit.
Well, how was that? How are the breakout sessions? All good? Wonderful. So that's the end of our formal sort of First Friday social. I'm hanging around. If anyone else wants to hang around and chill out, please charge your glasses and keep chilling out. And as I say, the new events that are coming up is Catherine Strachan on next Thursday week. She's going to be helping us with our content piece, which is on the 11th of March. And then we have this reluctant networker event, which is going in on the 24th of March. And in the meantime, please keep sharing the content that Ella and the team are putting out there. The thing you have to keep in the back of your mind is local elections are going to happen in May. So politicians have been sitting on the fence, not doing enough to help you as young people. And we need to apply some pressure on them to take you seriously, to change their policy, to give you some more support. So the more vocal you can become, the more you can support the activities of Winchester Creatives, the more we can build advocacy and make positive change happen. So if anyone wants to hang out, let's hang out. But that's the end of proceedings. Thank you very much. Good job, Myles.
Very good job.
Thank you. Thanks, Myles.
Hang on. Before anyone goes, Myles, get your cards. Get your cards like this. We need a photo. We need a photo op. Okay. So hang on, because otherwise, you see, Ella chases me for these things afterwards. Anyone take a photo? And I'll be like, "No, didn't you, Ella?" And she'd be like, "No, didn't you?" So,
Yeah.
Okay.
I've taken some, by the way, if you need them, Ella.
Thank you.
Okay, hang on. It comes up one more. I just okay. For some reason, it kind of comes up with a mute. Wait. Why does it come up with mute rather than an image? Right. Here we go. Okay. Well, good job. So yeah, anyone wants to hang out, please, let's carry on hang out.
Cool.
Anyone who wants to drop off, that's also cool.
I have to run. I'm going to go get my dinner, but it's lovely to see everyone. And
Nice to
hopefully
see
see you all very soon. Bye.
Good to see everyone. See you soon. Nice one.
I'm also gonna grab some food, but it's nice talking to you all.
Awesome job on the 1 minute brief, Sandy.
Thank you. And I have another lunch club meeting tomorrow, by the way. So I've been doing that for 2 weeks now.
And I'm going to come back to everyone about their create not hate campaign. I promise to come back to everyone on that. Bear with me, but awesome job on that as well.
All right, bye everyone.
Nailing it.
Bye.
Sandy. So go on, Myles. Tell us how you got into magic.
So I was 6 years old when I got into magic. Well, that's what started it. I was at Butlins in Bognor Regis, and there was a magician there on stage called Stephen Mulhan. He's now a TV presenter for ITV, but he used to be a magician, and he got me up on stage, and I messed up his trick. I can't remember what I did, but my mum remembers me messing it up as a 6-year-old. But then he still gave me a magic set and was very nice, and so that's what got me started. And then I just got magic sets for birthday, Christmas, every time I could get them. And then when I was 11 years old, I met a magician at an event. I showed him some magic, and he said, you should come along to something called the AWS, which is the Associated Wizards of the South, which is like a magic society where you can learn from other magicians. It's the 4th oldest magic society in the world, and Harry Houdini used to be a member, so that's pretty cool. So yeah, I went to there, I learned from other magicians, and then just never stopped, basically. And now here I am now, where the COVID-19 hit and the event industry went. So I decided to retrain in something that I'm also passionate about, which is basically anything creative. So I've gone into digital design.
And I kind of stalked you on your YouTube channel, by the way. Your ring trick is incredible. And there was one clip I saw, and I just thought, oh my goodness, how do you do that? You threw a ring in the air and a castle, and it landed in your finger. Did that actually?
Yeah, Yeah, that's real. So that's not a trick. That's just me having way too much spare time, basically.
You must have taken like 100 takes to get that.
No, so it's like 1 in 5. There's a big I go to a big magic convention every year up in Blackpool. It's like 5,000 magicians from all around the world descend on Blackpool in February, and so we go there. We have lectures, seminars, we network, and everybody goes to the same bar. Well, not all 5,000, but a lot of people go to this bar called the Ruskin. And I was having a few drinks in there, and I got dragged outside, and they're like, "Do the ring trick," and I was like, "Oh God, I've had a few pints in at this point." I was like, "It's not going to work." And I threw it, and I did it first try, and I was like, "Yeah, it's perfect." And they had it on video. I was like, "Oh, so good." It just, and then I didn't do it again for the rest of the weekend because I didn't want to ruin the legend that happened.
I've seen the one where at weddings where they take the wedding ring from the bride and they throw it and they get it into a wine bottle, and then it doesn't come out, and you can genuinely see the panic on the bride's face at like I don't quite know what's going on here, especially when the groom's booked the magician and not told the bride there's going to be a magician at the wedding reception. She's like, some guy's just walked in and taken my wedding ring. Like, who are you? Like, what's going on?
And especially when the magician swaps the diamond out for a Fox's glacier mint.
And we were at one wedding where the groom had organised that for the bride as a surprise, and the bride for the groom had organised the waiters to be singing waiters. Have you heard of them? So they're these guys that are opera singers that like they masquerade as waiters. So they come in and like they're there the whole event doing waiters, and all of a sudden between courses they burst into like this incredible song, but neither knew the other had organised a surprise. So like simultaneously you had the rings going, you had opera going on, you had like the mother of the bride going into meltdown. But yeah, it's very clever.
Weddings are my like bread and butter, so I used to do a lot of them. You see some fantastic stuff happen. I remember one time there was they organised to have like an owl deliver the ring down the aisle and deliver the ring. And so the owl was around for the rest of the day for the photo shoot. And they had the page boy in front. And the idea was the page boy was going to run across what was in the background and have the owl follow him for a really nice photo. But they just told the page boy just to walk this way. They didn't tell him what the owl was going to do. He didn't even tell him about the owl. So this little 5-year-old kid is walking along in front of everyone smiling, and he looks back and sees this owl chasing him with what he thought. So he runs and turns towards everyone, tries to run towards his mum, and this owl's flying in, and it just caused chaos. But yeah, everybody was okay in the end, but you see some crazy stuff. I was doing a boat party in Southampton down at the docks, and I showed up to the gig, and I was like, I'm the magician. They're like, awesome, come on board. And just they're taking off and stuff. I was like, I need to speak to, I think the guy was named Jonathan. I was like, there's no Jonathan here. And I was like, oh no, I'm on the wrong boat. I realised that I was on the wrong boat party. So I had to like stop them from leaving, docking, and run back off and find the right boat before they took me off. They almost had a free magician for the night.
Brilliant. And so Andrew, I'm intrigued. How did you find out about Winchester Creatives?
I think it was just social, just Instagram or something, and just picked it up. I was just quizzing everyone else in the breakouts, just how it all works, and the sort of creative scene a little bit more, because it's just been really rubbish. I moved to the area and thought, give it a few months and sort of settle in, and then start sort of showing my face around Winchester and the creative scene a bit more, and then obviously can't. So it's been really weird. But thankfully, I've had a uni mate from Bath that is in Winchester, so I managed to catch up with him a couple of times and just pick his brains on things. But yeah, completely new to the area and what's going on. But I was just saying to the others, I was comparing it to my experiences in Bristol and Bath and sort of Gloucestershire area and what goes on there, and just trying to see if this is similar sort of setup or not. So
well, welcome. Where are you based in Winchester?
I'm in Kingsonbourne.
Okay.
Yeah, so just down the road from Stockbridge. But yeah, I've just got a sort of home office at the moment, and all the people that are sort of working for me are freelancers and all over really. So all over, generally Gloucestershire, but also London, and got guy from Switzerland as well. So yeah, all over really. So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
You're more than welcome to come and join us, and no doubt you got the sense of the vibe. This is voluntary, started in lockdown, trying to do some good for young creatives under the age of 25, give them a bit of hope. help them kind of reduce their feelings of job despair, and help them to get in and get on in the creative industries, get them jobs type of thing. That's
been a real thing in the last few months. I sort of signed up for this Here to Help campaign. Don't know if you've seen that going about, but it was some graduates, I think, set it up, which is basically just professional creatives putting their hand up to say, if I'm here, if you want to contact me just for portfolio advice or just any sort of advice about getting your career started, I'm here. So I've sort of signed up and I'm on the list for that. And then that made me think I really should be doing more anyway. I set up in the last week or two a thing called IPA sessions, which is pretty much this. It's sort of anyone else that wants to sort of just drop me a line and say, oh, you know, can we catch up for a beer and a chat? I'll just put some people together in a room and have a chat. So it's a very sort of similar idea, and so we're on the same page of that. And then I used to do a fair bit with the University of Gloucestershire as well, by going in and doing portfolio sessions and things. So I sort of got back in touch with them, but you know, there's no reason why it can't be one of the local colleges or universities to hear. It's just I just haven't had the opportunity to sort of meet them, and
well, I'll connect with you offline, and I'll drop you a note, and I can bring you up to speed with all the avenues to get involved in things.
Sure.
You know, the truth is there isn't actually a central hub for this in Winchester. It's all a bit sporadic, and everyone's a bit silent and doing separate things. So we're trying our best to try and join it all up. But and Nicola's massively involved in various other initiatives. There's Tea and Toast is a networking event, and he's helping to run a Twitter thing on a Tuesday evening called Hampshire Hour, or involved in that. So there's lots of things we could do. What would be your advice, Nicola, to get involved in things?
Probably go along to a few things like the Tea and Toast and stuff, just because there's no commitment level. Like, it's quite good to give. If you're on Clubhouse, I've been joining in with a couple of other local PR agencies on a Monday. We do a chat for businesses in Hampshire to just kind of see what's going on, not purely creative, but all sorts of people. And then Hampshire Hour on Tuesday nights on Twitter is quite nice to meet lots of people. But there is a bit of a lack of, I think it does depend where you've come from and what you've done, but I'd say compared to Bristol, there's nowhere near as much from what I know from friends that are there. And you can't really compare it to London, because London's so different, because you've got all businesses can find a networking event in London. But you do get a lot of sort of down from London syndrome of people expect it to be like London, and it's not. But the plus side of that is it's easy to bump into people, whereas you can go a long time with never bumping into someone in London.
But in the southwest, there used to be a chap called Bob Mitten that was Mitten Williams Design in Bath, and he used to always set everything up, and he had strong links with Bath University. So he set up a lot of the sort of networking and talks and getting professionals in to the various schemes. And then he gave it up after probably 10 years or so. And then Taxi Studio in Bristol sort of took it up, and they have different campaigns that goes on through them, but they seem to be the real ones in Bristol now. They've massively grown, and they've got multiple schemes through the University of Gloucestershire and things, and they seem to be a real place to go and do an internship. And
cool. Well, look, I'll reach out and I'll try and add as much value and connections as possible.
Thank you for that.
Just a quick one, Richard. Amazing. Your animation was awesome, incredible, outstanding. It's your finest work. You should be very proud.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you. I mean, I did. I mean, I wish I could have done more, but thank you for the appreciation, and it's been good. I mean, last few weeks has been good, and I was really looking forward to this event. So it's been good, and thanks to Myles for all his magic tricks.
No problem, pleasure.
So, unless anyone else has got anything else to say, should we wrap up for the evening? Does it sound like a good time, so we can all go and get something to eat? Please, if you can remember one thing top of mind over the next month, share some love for the wonderful Myles Thornton. He's got a great website. We all know people who are going to try and open up bars, try and get, footfall into their shops, or trying to get the event scene. I've just learned this morning that Hat Fair in Winchester is now back on the 2nd to the 4th of July, I think. So there are going to be loads of events, and there's a need to basically get people to come into bars, restaurants, shops, weddings, whatever. If you can think about Myles Thornton as a good guy in your contact list to make an introduction, I'm sure he'd really appreciate if you bore him in mind. Okay, unless there's anyone else to say anything, should we wrap it up there?
Brilliant. Thanks a lot, everyone.
Have an
Nice to
amazing
see everyone.
week.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Thank you for coming.
Have a great time. Bye.
Bye.